Blast off.
Here we go. Let's go. What's up?
Please make sure all your phones and mobile devices are muted.
Oh, did you not have anything muted?
Boy, do I have an echo
Make
right
sure
now.
your. I thought you were going to say, make sure your trays are up in an upright position.
In a erect position, is that what you said?
My tray's always erect.
Oh, geez.
Oh, man.
Oh,
We already went
geez.
there?
Lies. Okay.
We're not even started 1 minute yet. We're already,
We don't do the awkward wave until at the end of the show. So the Germans would have you believe. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Streams with THF, episode 7. Tonight is our law enforcement and first responder appreciation show with a special guest tonight who probably needs no introduction for just about anybody that's already tuned in. But what a lot of people might not know a lot about iHocNation is his law enforcement career. And that's why we have him along with our special guest host, Q-Swin, on today. iHoc has been a police officer in Findlay, Ohio for the last 22 years. And we're going to bring him on and pick his brain about we want to see what he's what the last 22 years have had in store for him for the last in his personal life and talk to him a little bit more about that. And of course, we're definitely much respect. Exactly. We're going to thank him for his service because without our first responders and our law enforcement, well, this would be a different world, wouldn't it?
Yep.
Sure would.
So, should we bring him on? Are we ready?
Let's let him sweat a little bit in the background.
Okay,
because he can't hear us anymore. He can't hear us right now. So,
well, actually, he can hear us just fine.
Oh man,
are you sure about that?
I don't think so. I think he can hear us.
I heard every last word.
Oh
you
man.
said.
Yes. iHoc, first of all, thank you for your service. Detective Hocanson.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
My absolute pleasure.
I would imagine that a good majority of your career is kind of been slightly thankless. It's tough. I personally think that we don't thank our law enforcement enough.
You know, I'm going to have to disagree. Now, we deal with 1% of the population, like 99% of the time. I mean, the ones that we're dealing with that are troubled or that are constantly getting trouble is the vast minority. And I don't know about what it's like around the entire country because I've only worked for one department, one location. But I will say that our community really rallies around us and actually does do a lot of things to show appreciation and just make sure, like, I can't go anywhere out to eat, picking up food, coffee, whatever, without somebody stopping. I mean, you're going to have the ones that say, I didn't do it every single time, which I've never heard that one before. But no, like every day, somebody goes out of their way to make sure that they know that we are appreciated. So
now, are you talking about when you're in uniform, or do you? Because I don't know the size of Findlay. Hopefully, I'm saying that right.
Findlay.
Okay.
Yep.
So, is it a small town? Do people recognize you when you're out of uniform?
Oh, absolutely. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a small town. It's got about a population of about 50,000. But we're right on the interstate, and we have a lot of employment factories. Very big on commercial stuff. The Marathon Petroleum headquarters is there. You've got Goodyear. It's got some big businesses locations. So on any given day, we actually have typically around 100,000 people inside the city, which isn't monstrous by any means, but it's a decent size. But even with that population, I'm recognized everywhere I go. So I always have to be mindful of that, good and bad. And I've had issues in the past with being out in public on my own time with my family and having people that weren't happy with experiences that would express that.
Ooh,
Do they
that's tough.
recognize you more as the detective or as iHoc?
I only a few people in the area know of my alter ego there. So more often it's as a police officer or now as a detective that people would recognize me.
I think you've got you need to pull your mic to you a little bit.
Is it this one that's working?
Yeah,
or okay,
that's the one.
okay. So I'll just get that. I wasn't sure actually which microphone was working. So now that I know, I'll have that closer.
Yeah, because you were cutting out, trailing out. The same problem that I'm having sometimes. So for all those that are watching this replay on YouTube tomorrow, sorry if my mic keeps going in and out. And for all those that are watching it live right now, sorry that my mic keeps going in and out.
Yeah, Wakko
So
has
far,
mic
so
problems.
good. So far, so good.
Well, I've had enough practice. I should have it down, but Tuesday night I definitely didn't. So that's awesome. Yeah, man. 22 years. That's I think I've heard you say a time or two that your retirement's probably not too far off for you, and you're young, so to a lot of people that could be surprising, but in a police department, retirement comes early. It can.
It's not a young man's game at all, unless you get into like administration or something that's a little bit farther up. Honestly, where I'm at, I have multiple positions, multiple jobs, but the main one is more or less a desk job. But I do have to go out to scenes. But I would say 95% of my work can be done at the desk. So that's where I'm at more often than not. I'm coming up on 22 years next month. It'll be 22 years. And the way when I got hired in, you have to do 25 years of service and hit the age of 48 to be eligible for retirement. And right now, the way it's looking, I'm guessing that as soon as I get that 25 years of service in, I will probably retire with the intention of at 48, I'm not going to be done working. So I'm just going to find something other than law enforcement to do and kind of hang that hat up.
Full-time Fortnite.
You mean like streaming?
Yeah. I think I could get lost in Starfield for a couple of years. So yeah.
I've heard it's a good game. For sure.
I want to play it more, but I understand that my bread and butter and those that watch me with my streams want to see Fortnite. I mean, our communities are shared. We see a lot of the same people. They're there to support your stream and to be there and talk with you, but they're there to watch Fortnite, and I know that, and I appreciate that. So I know that my streams are going. And Starfield isn't a game that you can really stream. It's something that it's for the individual that's playing it because it's heavy in dialogue and, for lack of a better word, if you were just watching it, it'd be boring. So I don't want to. Even if I'm playing the game, I don't think I'll be streaming it.
Yeah, I've experienced a little bit of that trying to play Zelda and God of War, and Monday streams are supposed to be my Zelda stream, and last like 3 Mondays I've found myself playing Fortnite instead. Like you got to give the people what the people want, right?
Oh yeah, I mean you'll always have those that stick around that are there to chat that just will be there no matter what. But you'll have those that are vocal, like this ain't Fortnite, Well, why aren't you playing the game that I want to watch you play? And I appreciate, I understand that, I grasp that. So
I still get the occasional. Is this a new update? It's like, come on.
What collab is this?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't change the recipe.
I'd love to see a Link skin in Fortnite, but
you'll never see Nintendo stuff.
Nintendo's stingy.
Nintendo's stingy.
Yep.
Yeah, I might maybe see a Nintendo Funko Pop before I ever see a Fortnite collab with Nintendo.
Now, if there was Nintendo Switch only and you had to be playing on the Switch to have it, I could see maybe them doing that, but that would be about the only way. That would mean it has to be Nintendo only. So.
It's kind of a bummer that way, isn't it?
Yeah, I wish
I'm a
they'd
big
come off
Nintendo
of it.
fan. So.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much they could do with it. If they made the whole map of a Mario map, or, you know, there's so much that they could do with it that would be a lot of fun.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody does something like that with the Creative 2.0 with the Unreal Engine or whatever. I mean, there's so much stuff that people can do. There will be some third party like Nintendo stuff maps eventually. Like people are gonna figure out how to do some stuff. It's
people made Pokemon maps.
Yeah.
There was talk of that coming. There was talk of them having Pokemon on the maps and having them be a pet. Mario.
He's going to get rich off Creative eventually.
If Fortnite can get Disney to do Star Wars, Fortnite can get Nintendo to do Mario. I don't see why not. As stingy as Disney is,
it's only about money.
Money, yeah.
Follow the dollar.
It's unfortunate that Epic has not made more money than what they have with Fortnite. It's just a damn shame that people.
And since we've gotten on the topic of Fortnite,
with that free game.
Since we got on the topic of Fortnite, you've got some folks at the precinct that'll tune into your streams every once in a while, right?
Occasionally, I found that they. When I was on Facebook, it was more accessible to them because obviously everybody has Facebook. A lot of the people that I work with are going to be friends with me on Facebook. Not everybody has a Twitch. Not everybody knows what a Twitch is. So I did not get that transition to happen when I switched from Facebook to Twitch of people who aren't. I had people that watched just because it was me and they wanted to support me, not because I was playing a video game. With Twitch, it's more of if anybody's on there, it's because they're a dedicated video game watcher.
But you do have one.
I do. I most certainly do.
The one.
What, Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin.
That's, no.
There you go. You're picking up what I'm laying down. Okay. I want to talk about Kevin.
I would love to talk about Kevin, and I'm sure Kevin will probably eventually watch this. So, okay. Kevin is not a supporter of my stream. I want you to know that. Kevin is my coworker. I wouldn't even call him a friend. Kevin, you're not a friend. You're a coworker. He's also, I don't know if you're familiar with the term a cuck. He is a full-on cuck. So he is always that guy that is watching what everybody else is doing and stalking them on social media. This asshole. Okay. You see my hot dog outfit right over there. Okay, that's where it's at. Okay. He'll watch my stream, wait for me to be wearing that and doing something stupid, and he'll take a screenshot. And then I'll come into work. And right now, his background picture on his computer is me in a hot dog outfit getting ready to floss. And then everybody that comes into my office and goes to his desk, because his desk is the first one you see, sees that, and they see me in a hot dog, and they're like, what the hell? This idiot streams and plays video games and wears that and dances for people. So he's not my biggest fan.
All you got to do is put a cup on your desk and say, for $100, I'll wear the hot dog suit for you for 10 minutes.
There's also the Halo helmet.
Yeah, my Yakuzaman loves seeing me wear that Halo helmet.
It's so easy to play the game too, right?
I can't breathe while I'm wearing it. I can't see while I'm wearing it. I can barely hear. My teammates can't hear me. It is.
You have to switch to earbuds, right?
Yes.
I've seen you do it a couple times.
So that means all of the sound alerts that people love to play on my stream are like mega blasted in my ear. Not just a little bit, like it's 10 times worse. So yeah, I would rather do 4 corners, 1 chest, sky base, in the hot dog outfit than a normal game wearing that
Sausage
mask.
party. Yeah, well,
It's bad. But he likes it, so we do it.
Yeah, that screams.
Oh yeah, when you do the really loud emotes, yes.
I didn't know you. I was going to make a helmet comment, but I didn't know that would fit on your head. Like I don't know. I got a big melon here, and I look at those, and there's no way I can fit them on my head, which makes me sad because that's an awesome helmet, right? Yeah.
That thing is huge. It's bigger. It fits. It fits comfortably. It's not meant to look out of. It's very bad. Yeah,
I saw a video of one of those. Somebody made a real one where it had like it projected stuff onto the screen and it was
seriously?
all lit up. Oh, I was like, oh my god, that's the future.
I mean, that was one of the reasons
awesome.
I got my 3D printer. Is I was hoping
That
to
chick,
get a
hello.
full-size Master Chief outfit, but I didn't. What?
Like,
Bring your mic back over where you had it.
Gotcha. Yep. Sorry, but yeah, that was the reason I got the 3D printer is because I wanted to make a full-size Master Chief outfit, but I just haven't done it yet.
That's a big project.
That's a lot of printing.
Yeah, I got nothing. I literally haven't done anything with
when
it.
he retires, that's his new project.
These 3D printed V-Bucks were like a chore to make for not for me, but for the person that was getting into 3D printing. And I couldn't imagine like actually doing an entire cosplay outfit.
It would take a year. It would take a year.
I mean, people are out there doing it though. I mean, these cosplay outfits get it pretty insane now because
people have
3D printing
printers.
Oh yeah,
multiple printers doing different pieces. It's so much money.
Emily, the engineer, she's got like 30 printers going all the time, and she just makes like Iron Man outfits, but like makes them to where they really work, and face masks and everything go up. It's crazy.
So switching back over to why we're here, the law enforcement. You've done a lot of things. You've emergency response, SWAT, crisis negotiator, hostage negotiator, forensic child interviewer. Like what's kind of like what's been your most favorite role, and what like is it where you're at now? Is it where you started? Somewhere in the middle? Like what part of the job do you enjoy the most?
Well, I've taken on an older guy's role, I guess. Now, I mean, I'm getting older. My body doesn't work out like it did before. I miss working on the street. I miss handling all the fun calls that you would get to go on as a young person and be able to handle. One of those kind of weird ones that you're a little bit of an adrenaline junkie where you like the fights. You like the chases. You like.
I mean, that's how you play Fortnite. So.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, but I like the cerebral stuff to it too. I like I putting puzzles together, solving stuff. Obviously, I love talking to people. I could do that all day long, and getting to interview people and get them to tell you stuff that they shouldn't tell you or they don't want to tell you is incredible. I've done the SWAT thing for, I want to say, about 8 years now.
Do you get called out a lot on that?
Occasionally we've had hostage situations. We've had barricaded subjects. Our bread and butter is obviously like search warrants for like drug raids. That's probably the most that we're going to get called out for. But we've handled, barricaded subjects with weapons. You name it. If it's something to where it just regular patrol isn't necessarily fully equipped to handle it, then we get called in for it.
Any on the job injuries? Lucky Chow, wondering.
Well, so many.
A paper cut. No.
Yes, you can't do the job without getting hurt. I've shoulder injuries, elbow injuries, all kinds of scrapes and falls. I mean, nothing too crazy. I had a huge gash in my elbow where you could see like the cartilage is split in two, and I had to go and get stitched up, and that was from tackling a guy onto a blacktop, which wasn't my smartest move, but that's where we were, and he needed to be taken down, so we did. But yeah, I mean, with SWAT, I was the RAM guy for a long time, so I got to bust in a lot of doors.
Oh, I was going to
Oh.
ask you if you
Oh.
got to bust indoors.
I
So you
was,
probably really like the new weapon in Fortnite then.
I mean,
Team Ramrod.
in concept, I like it. I wish not to get back on Fortnite, but I know we will. Like,
It's always going
Why-
to circle back.
why can't we just have like one normal weapon season? Like, get away from all of the bullcrap special abilities and all this. Just ARs, shotguns, SMGs, snipers, and just call it a day. And let us just, you know, I hate the screaming Karens, and I hate getting fall damage to my death because I got hit once by a ram that you can't prevent. Yeah, but yeah, I got to be the ram guy for a long time, and I had an absolute blast with that. But like I said, I'm starting to get older. I'm looking at retirement not far down the road. So
This is a good one. You can tell my wife's my wife comes from an interesting family, so this is a good question.
I have seen family members get arrested. I have never had to be the one. That would be a conflict of interest for sure.
Yeah.
Friends, I've arrested people I went to school with. I don't know if I would call that a friend. If there was a
Acquaintance.
yeah. Oh, most certainly. Oh, most certainly. I've dealt with a lot of people that I went to school with, and it's a smaller town. People stay in the places they're from.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes,
Sure.
I have had to arrest plenty of people that I went to school with or graduated with, or that is an unfortunate thing that does happen. But absolutely. But yeah, conflict of interest. You should not be having to deal with
Arrest family members.
That would be a big taboo. If they are
Yeah.
family, you would.
That's
need to
really small towns.
Yeah, you would really need to remove yourself from that situation.
You don't have a You don't have a choice.
No. And I've been on those calls where it's like, listen, I shouldn't be the one here because there's a massive conflict, and let's say it went the family member's way and it didn't go the other person's way, and then the other half pitches a fit that it only went that way because family member was there. It wouldn't look good. And
Yeah, that's not just personal preference. That's policy.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Bucky, I don't think bad guys watch Fortnite, so
Yeah.
he's probably safe there. I'm just.
They all watch Call of Duty.
I have never had a
Warzone,
bad guy say, "Oh, it's iHocNation." No, that hasn't happened yet.
Yet.
Let me get a quick selfie.
After this podcast, you're sure to be recognized.
Maybe.
Another thing I think of is with mental. There's physical injuries, was also mental, because on the detective side and the dispatch side, it's when I was dispatch for 9 years, the mental part was a big thing for me, because you're working long hours, seeing the worst of people and the worst of like people's days.
Absolutely, you're catching.
It definitely takes time to build that inner strength up.
When I started, I was very wet behind the ears. Not many life experiences, and for the most part, I was raised right, like the fear of God and my siblings, that you do the right thing all the time. I wasn't a hellraiser. I like to have fun. I like to do dumb stuff, but I didn't do, for the most part, illegal stuff. So I didn't realize how some people live and how some people it's their normal to live like that. So it was a massive wake up call for me as far as seeing how people were, and then never being around death. Really, I mean, that wasn't something I was used to, and I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of brutality. I've seen a lot of bad stuff, and yeah, even for like you said, not just physical injuries, but the mental injuries. There are. They say that there's like with emotional stuff, there's bears, and then there's like ducks. And if this makes sense, you could have one really big incident that just kind of tears you apart emotionally. You see something really bad, and that's the bear. You got attacked by the bear. Hard to deal with that. But then there's like the everyday mundane stuff that doesn't isn't nearly as impactful. But when you're dealing with it for decades, and it's just, you're getting pecked to death by little ducks, and it does add up over time. I've seen some stuff that I've had a hard time processing. Some homicides, some really tough stuff to have to look at that nobody should have to watch or see. And police officers are regular people too. They just choose a profession that not necessarily everybody's built for or would be willing to do. So um, there can be some. Every single one should probably go through some kind of therapy or counseling after they're done, just to cope.
Probably
Do-
not just
do- sorry,
after, but during too.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure.
and we
sure.
do.
Yeah.
We do. There have been some calls. I had to handle a homicide on my birthday, and I tried so hard to get that day off, and it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal, and I was the person who found her after the fact. And yeah, I struggled with that one for a while, and we had to have some counseling afterward. Like everybody that was involved in it. You didn't have to go to it, but it was highly recommended, and it helped. But yeah, that one was hard to deal with for a long time because just the images, the things that you saw, and then those things stick with you, and sometimes for no reason, or just driving down the same road or the same railroad, going over the same railroad track where it was at, and every time you go by it, you look over and you think about it to the point sometimes where you're just, well, I'm just not going to go down that way because every time I go down that way, I'm going to look and I'm going to think about it. So it happens.
Do they
Well,
give
that's
you any
important, too.
training to deal with all that, or is it all post situate? Like they'll give you support afterward, or like I don't know. I guess I'm saying what kind of training they give you to deal with that
To prepare
before it happened.
for
Yeah.
seeing it.
Yeah.
That's
When
right.
I first started, there really wasn't a whole lot. There was like they call them EAPs, where you're dealing with something you can't deal with it. You can go for free to counseling, but there wasn't really a whole lot of training on it. Over the last I don't know, 5-10 years, they've definitely ramped that up and talked to officers that this is something you're going to deal with. It was particularly true when one of my coworkers killed himself on New Year's, and he was only a couple years from retirement. He was about done, and whatever happened, he took his life, and a lot of people had a very difficult time coping with that. And the officer's wife got involved with making sure that um, uh, therapy or mental health or whatever, that it was more of a focus with law enforcement, so that hopefully nobody else had to go through anything or see that. So
Yeah, times have changed a lot in 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, with regards to how we view mental health, and especially how it affects people that we just kind of took for granted that they signed up to see it.
oh, absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
and that's been a big change over the years. Like that's the biggest thing that they tell you too. Just don't be a hard ass. Don't think that you can handle everything on your own. Everybody needs help, and especially people that are subject to stuff like this on a regular basis.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have to be tough. You don't have to be tough. Like tough people have feelings too.
Right. Well, you got to understand, a lot of people that get into law enforcement are like prior military, or that there a lot of them, at least they were the type A alpha male.
Yeah.
So there's that persona, that, or that thought process that, you're
Right.
tough, you're a tough guy. You're not, this shouldn't bother you, or you can talk between the guys as far as, nah, you're good. That shouldn't bother you. and that's more of an old school way of thought anymore. And they do focus a lot more on just making sure that the people that are handling these or experiencing this are taken care of after the fact.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
For
I
sure.
remember from my experience, when I started law enforcement, I was wet behind the ears as well, and it affects you. Also affects who you're with and your family. Because I had a personal relationship at a time when I was in dispatch law enforcement, and part of the strain from that was kind of like affected everyone around me, and it's you don't see it, but you can kind of see the ripples of some kind of things that happen to you sometimes inadvertently come out through you and affect other people after work.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And I've been really good about it. Luckily, I have video games, and I can cope through the video games. I didn't have to do alcohol or anything crazy like that. Like my out is really easy. I just kill a lot of bodies in Fortnite, and I'm happy. But
That's a
I
lot
did-
better than their
Vices the other
alternative.
day.
right,
What did I
right.
say about Vices the other day? Vices is video games.
My
Yeah.
vice is video games.
Yep.
But I have always done I think a very good job of, as soon as that clock hits, whatever 3 o'clock, whenever my shift is done, I take that hat off, I take that roll off, and yeah, you shut her down. And of course, you can't go anywhere, family events, friend gatherings, without them. Oh, what cool cop stories do you have? And like, you're trying not to, you compartmentalize that. Like, now this is here. I'll tell you some funny stories, but I'm not going to get into the whole a lot of it. And I've
Yeah,
done
we
that.
don't need horror stories, but I'm
Right.
glad you brought up stories because we expect some stories.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure I will fulfill that for sure. But I'm just saying, like, I've done a really good job of not bringing it home,
Yeah.
not introducing my family to some of the stuff that I have had to deal with, so that, one, they're not worrying, and two, that I'm not putting it on them as far as those experiences.
Compartmentalize. That's
Yeah.
Yes.
what you
I-
got to do.
I would imagine that in law enforcement, you probably have two different types of spouses also. You probably have the spouse that is okay with everything, wants to know everything, and then you probably have the spouse that's like, I just want him to come home. I don't need to know anything about anything. I
Don't
just
want
want
to
him
know.
to come home every night. And
Right.
that's it. Like,
Yeah.
so how's Mama Hawk? Like,
Mama Hawk is that second person. Mama Hawk, as long as she, just be careful. As long as I come home, she's good. She doesn't really need to get wrapped up in the, day to day, what I did, what I experienced. It's a little bit different now that my job is more of a desk job, and I am busier with cases than I've ever been in my entire career. So she is experiencing that with my frustration that I don't have. When I'm at work, I don't really have a lot of free time. I have so much work to do that I can stay busy forever. Um, so she's experiencing that portion more, just my frustration that I'm going to have more work than I'm ever going to be able to complete, and it's going to be like that now until I'm done. So.
yeah. Gotcha. So how about some of those stories?
Okay, before the story, though, I was going to ask you.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask you, like, what is the coolest part? What do you enjoy about it, like, the absolute most? Like, maybe it's just getting to experience some of these cool stories that you're gonna get into here, but yeah, what's the coolest part? Like, what keeps you going?
Well, now nothing's keeping me going as far as anything that's adrenaline stuff. Like that portion, like I said, with the ER with SWAT, I stepped down from the main group. I'm still on perimeter, but I'm not typically the guy going in anymore. I've been cross trained for crisis negotiation. So now I get, if we ever have that hostage situation, barricaded subject, I've been trained with that so that I can start working on trying to come to a peaceful resolution with that. So my roles have changed a lot, but back when I was younger, I don't know if it was the foot chases, if it was the fights, if it was the vehicle pursuits. Basically, anything that was like an adrenaline rush, obviously, was a lot of fun. Because the problem is that 5 minutes of fun that you experience, that adrenaline dump or rush that you have, comes with multiple hours of paperwork after the fact. So with your fun comes a punishment of you're going to be spending a lot of time documenting and paperwork with what you completed or what you did.
Yeah, don't you wish it was like the movies where you just arrest the guy, it goes
Walk
fast
away.
forward to the scene where you throw him in the slammer and the judge bangs the gavel and you're done.
Right. and now my role is so much different in that I'm spending hours analyzing stuff, search warrants for things, waiting for returns to come back, interviewing people. And interviewing people's fun, but I mean, to then have to type up the entire interview as far as what was said after the fact, that takes so much longer than the interview itself. So I have a lot of tedious work that and
A lot of this
You don't have-
stuff, it reminds me of Spaceballs when they're like that alien race who's got to like oh, I gotta go fill out the we're gonna pursue sheet like before they can actually go.
oh,
Like,
you're talking Guardian or
or,
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Yes,
that
where
one,
they got to
yeah.
have it in triplicate before they, okay,
That's
pursue
right.
the fugitive.
Yeah, okay, yes, okay,
Yes.
we have approval. Yeah, it's like they've
Yes.
been gone for 3 hours. Like
Absolutely.
Now we can chase him.
now we can
Absolutely.
chase.
But yeah, anything that was an adrenaline rush. I mean, and it's hard to say now. Like, I don't want to come across as that I enjoyed fighting with people, but I mean, especially
Adrenaline.
oh yeah, and after it's done, you can look back on it and be like, man, that could have been bad or that was dumb. There's been a couple times where I thought that I was going to have to, I was going to be getting involved in luckily I haven't any kind of firefight, but I've had some situations where I thought that I was, and luckily it's never had to turn out that way. But
I mean, look,
Yeah.
we a lot of people when they were young, they were like, I want to be a policeman, I want to be a firefighter, I want
be a
to
fireman.
a fireman.
Be a fireman.
Be a fireman.
You want to do all these things because you want to take down bad guys, or you want to save people, or you want to do these things. So it only makes sense that when you're young and in that profession, if you ended up going that way, that some of those high adrenaline situations are a rush. Like
Oh, they are.
that's-
They
Yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
are.
And if they weren't, you wouldn't have done it for 22 years.
Right. Right. It's not just about the paycheck. And I think that the majority of the people that get into firefighting or police work, they already have a community oriented, they want to do something for their community. And I think a lot of times, or they want to get some are just that not, they want to go after the bad guy and get stuff off the street, drugs. I mean, some people, that's their big focus is, I want to get all the drugs off the street. Or some people,
Yeah, they might have a
absolutely
personal
Yeah.
passions.
absolutely, and they do. And that's the greatest part about law enforcement is that it's not one cookie cutter. You're going to go in and you're going to do this job. You're going to do all the jobs. You're going to have to be well-rounded and do all the jobs. But if there's something that you want to focus in on and specialize in, you certainly can. And then the best part about it is every day is different. You have absolutely no idea for that day what you're getting into. And it can be the most boring ass of days with nothing going on. And just like that, all of a sudden, it is the craziest day you've ever had. And that's, I guess, probably the funnest part about it is every day is different and you have zero idea what you're getting into.
We got
Have
a
you ever
couple
had to
questions.
do dispatch before?
I mean, I've been in dispatch. I've watched dispatch. One time when I dislocated my shoulder, I thought I was going to have to get into dispatch, so that I could do work while I was recuperating, but that didn't happen. I'm familiar with it. I understand what they do, but I haven't had to do that. So, no.
We got a couple questions in the chat
Absolutely.
that are on a certain subject that I'm actually curious about. Although we won't spend too much time on it, but you know in today's world we do have some folks that are not very positive about our police officers,
Absolutely.
and there are some, like, truth be told, there are some bad cops out there. Like,
There
Dakota
are
and I have.
reasons. There are times that there are reasons for people to be upset with the profession. Absolutely.
Have you had any experiences with cops that, you know, in precincts around you or in your precinct or whatever, that have taken the law into their own hands and done anything like, you know, a lot of people just see what the news gives us and they assume that there's bad cops all around us, like everybody, you know, like, I'm just curious, have you had any experiences with stuff like that where
Absolutely, absolutely. Not everybody is meant to be in law enforcement. Um, it's not for everybody. And sometimes even somebody with the best intentions, when they start and they do well for a time, um, things can happen, things can change, and they can lose their way. Some people can be a little bit power hungry or heavy with it, and get to be used to that, and then can abuse it. I mean, we're not blind to the fact that that kind of stuff happens. We hate when it happens. Anybody that's trying to go in every day and make a positive impact and be a good influence on the community, every time that something happens, the Chauvin type of stuff, the George Floyd kind of stuff, every time that something like that happens, we cringe, we shudder, we agree, you know, we know that that's going to have a negative impact and outlook on our profession
and how you do your profession, how you do
oh,
your job.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's
And I
unfortunate.
couldn't imagine working in a department at the time when one of those things happened, working in Minneapolis after something like that happens, trying to go in there and do your job, and but know that the people in that area are extremely upset with you, don't respect you, and are pissed off at what happened. And you might be in the same boat with them, agreeing with them. Um, but unfortunately, sometimes that one bad apple can spoil the bunch and give everybody a bad outlook.
Yeah.
So you just have to combat that with time, because time heals a lot of stuff. The pendulum swings both ways. There are times
Oh, yeah.
when people's opinions on law enforcement is poor. There's times when people's opinions of law enforcement are great. You look at September 11th and what happened afterwards. Everybody's opinion on law enforcement and firefighters was incredible.
Oh,
You
it
know,
was.
there wasn't a better time to be a police officer because people made sure they let you know that they appreciated you. So that swings back and forth, and you just got to know that you got to make the best impact that you can make with the time that you're given, and try to give at least your community cause to realize that that is a minority situation. That isn't what happens every day.
Yeah.
That, you know, no matter what you do as far as background checks, people can start out with the best intentions but lose their way through it and make dumb mistakes. And unfortunately, with our job, there are times when you are asked to make a life-changing decision in a split second that then people were going to be able to spend months upon months of dissecting and trying to come up with a reason why you should have done something else, when they had months to come to that conclusion and you had seconds to decide it. Mistakes are going to be made. We are human, but
Absolutely.
as long as you're coming at it with a good heart intention and you're making the best decision based on the information that you have, you got to live with those results and those consequences, just knowing that, you know, you did the best you could with what you had. and the amount of time that you had to come up with it.
Yeah.
Are you finding that there's a shortage of new police officers coming in?
Oh, wow. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, the George Floyd situations certainly didn't help. The media didn't help as far, I mean, we were painted very poorly for a while. I can tell you that 22 years ago, when I was taking the civil service test to become a police officer, and there were 3 positions available at the time, there were about 200 people that took the test. And there was probably about 150 of us that were taking the physical agility test afterwards. I was fortunate that I somehow made it above the rest of them and got hired.
How many
Now-
people out of that class got hired?
The 3. I mean, the
Goes-
3.
3 out of 200?
Yes.
Oh,
was two-
sorry. I missed that. Sorry.
Yeah. So when they were hiring 3 people, there were 200 applicants that showed up to take the test.
Wow.
Sorry,
And
I was
then
also reading chat.
No worries. And there was like 100 some that passed the physical agility. Luckily, I scored well, and then I must have interviewed well the second time. I got passed over the first time, but I had 0 experience. They had to put me through the academy, so I was 22 years old and brand new. So they had to take a chance on me.
It's
But
kind
now,
of like military, you know, when there's something, when the positive things are happening, you know, internationally or whatever, worldwide, and the military is looked on favorably, you know,
oh yeah,
sign
absolutely.
up like crazy, and then, you know, when things happen where you don't like what the military is doing, you know, there's nobody signing up, and they're begging people. They're like at recruitment centers to
And
sign the dotted line.
it's ebbs and flows. It comes with what the political outlook is and what things have happened around you. But to go with that, we're lucky to get 10 to 12 applicants now.
Wow.
There's not that many people signing up for it. So went from 200 people fighting, scratching, trying to get a job to 10 people showing up, and only a couple of them would probably be able to pass everything.
Weeksman said, I graduated the academy as Ferguson was happening, riots, people looting buildings. It was crazy. I knew in that moment I was going to be hated and vilified just because I wore a uniform.
Right. And unfortunately, in that situation, I don't know if I want to get into it too much, but the suspect in that case had robbed a cigar shop, I believe, and they located him, and then he physically assaulted a police officer and broke his orbital bone, and that officer ended up having to shoot and kill this person. And unfortunately, they were unarmed at the time, but causing some significant damage. And yeah, that did not go well for a long time in that city.
I'm gonna agree with Lobster here. They don't pay you guys enough for the stuff that you do and see.
Excuse me.
And we'll lighten it up. Tell us some fun stories. Let's bring the mood back up.
Okay, absolutely. Fun stories. Fun stories.
Tasing, you tase people and they piss themselves or shit themselves.
There is a
Wait, those
slight,
are the fun stories.
you know those slight little moments where you're like,
Oh, it's fun for
like,
iHoc.
you deserve that.
there is a slight chance that someone could do that one getting tased, but it is a very, very low chance. I only
Good
ever
to know.
tased 2 people in my career.
Make sure your face
Yep,
is mic a little bit better.
Yep, sorry. I've only tased, I think, 2 people in my career. I wasn't too heavy on the taser. Just I'm a little bit old school too. We went.
You've been
hands-on.
tased too, right? That was a requirement to being able to
Yeah,
use
I
the
mean, I
taser.
guess I could have sent you that video too. But yes, I was. Anybody that uses a taser has to also be tased so that they know what that experience is like. That's bullshit. That should not be happening. When they issue me a Glock in the event that I have to shoot somebody, I don't have to
You
shoot
didn't get to get
myself.
shot?
I don't have
That's
to
a
shoot
really good
myself in the
point.
foot to know that that's going to hurt like Dickens. So I don't agree with that one. But yes, I've rarely ever pepper sprayed anybody. I wasn't big on the pepper spray because when you pepper spray one person, you pepper spray everybody in the area,
including yourself
Right.
most of the time.
I have been pepper sprayed by officers more than I pepper sprayed anybody else. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Yeah.
tased Kevin?
No, but I would relish the opportunity to taste Kevin if it was given. Everybody at work expects that someday I'm just going to haul off and sock him, and I still might.
Okay, so what kind of paperwork is involved when you shoot your taser? Like a lot, or is
I
it
mean,
like,
it's a use of force.
this is worth
form.
it? Zap.
No, it's a use of force form. You do have to contact your supervisor if you tase somebody. You're only allowed to tase somebody twice if you have to, unless it's an extenuating circumstance. If you're by yourself and somebody just has to get tased more than twice, I mean, it's not against policy, but the more times somebody's put to that, it can happen. I have never used an asp. I have an asp, an expandable baton. I never had to use that once. Some guys have used it to break car windows when they're trying to get in when somebody's refusing to open. But
You have one of those big hats that go up, and like they do wear in England.
oh, come on now.
A bowler hat? Is that
No,
a bowler?
not the-
Is that a joke?
Yeah, that's a joke. And we have riot helmets, but
Those are just for the bobbies. What?
Yeah, those
Isn't
are
that
just
what
for
they call them
bobbies.
over there? Is bobbies?
hobbies. Yeah.
They don't carry guns either,
I
right?
couldn't imagine being law enforcement over there without a firearm, but I mean, it's different that most of the people they're dealing with don't have access to firearms, but they do have knives, and that can be more lethal or just as lethal. So that scares me that they don't have stuff like that to protect themselves. So
We
yeah,
can go into a whole nother show on that.
oh gosh,
subject.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, not to get too political, but yeah, I'm pro Second Amendment. I think people should have the right to possess and use firearms. I
Bear arms.
absolutely.
Like rah, bear arms.
Bear arms.
Yeah, you guys misinterpreted the whole thing. The whole thing was big.
We were supposed to have bear arms, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you want, like, it's hard to come up with just particular stories. I got one that involved Kevin. Do you want to hear one that involved Kevin?
Oh,
Okay.
now
Yeah.
I do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, me and Kevin, it was at a time when something happened to where we were like doubling up. We always drive cruisers by ourselves. We are one man operations driving our own car. But something came up where we didn't have enough cars, and like everybody was doubling up. Everybody was 2 man in a car. And me and Kevin were on third
Team
shift
Ram Route.
time, and we were team Beak I think is what they call us.
Beach nickel.
Yeah, his nickname was Beaky Buzzard because he looks like Beaky Buzzard from Looney Tunes. He does. And then he always called me Hockenschnickel, and I don't know why. He was the only person that called me that. So he ended up calling the car Beak Schnickel, which was stupid. But this one particular night, him and we were riding together, and Beak Schnickel, Hockenschnickel. Yeah, if you're going to start calling me that. So him and I were riding together, and dispatch puts out a car that had just been stolen. And they give us a description of the car and the plate. And just as they're giving this information out to us, we're turning onto Main Street, and this car turns right in front of us. It's the car, the plate, the car, and we're just like, holy crap, headquarters, we're right behind this thing. So you always wait to get some backup units with you, because stolen cars, they're always gonna flee. So we got some backup coming, and as soon as they came, we called out the traffic stop, and we pulled off onto this college road, and the guy stops. He pulls over, and it looked like he was fidgeting, like he was going to jump out of the car. So, and I wasn't the one driving; I was in the passenger seat. Kevin was driving. Big mistake. But the car stops, and with a stolen vehicle, with any kind of felony stuff, we have felony stops. There's protocol that we do for felony stops. So as soon as our car stopped, I'm out the door. I'm getting ready to do that felony stop. Kevin's still in the driver's seat. He's still behind the wheel. I jump out. I'm right by the door. My door is propped open, not for cover, but concealment. And all of a sudden, the guy pulls forward just a little bit, like he's going to go. Well, that caused Kevin to pull forward thinking that it was going to go. And when he hit the brake, my car door is shut. My car door is now shut. And then this kid decides he's going to take off. So there's like 3 or 4 cop cars behind me. One is the canine unit, so I can't get in there. But my car door shuts, and the guy takes off. So I go over to my car door, and I'm pulling on it, and Kevin has the damn door locked. It is locked. And I am yanking on this car door, almost ripping the handle off. Like, Kevin, open the door. Kevin, open the door. And he's just looking at me like dumbfounded, like he doesn't all of a sudden know how to open or unlock a car door. And he's looking at the car leaving, and he's looking at me, and he's looking at the car leaving, and he takes off. Leaves me on the side of the road. Next car up is the canine officer with his canine, and he just looks at me, and he does this and waves the file, and he drives by. And then it's vroom, 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 all these cars, and I hear the lights, or see the lights, hear the sirens, and I'm hearing that they're calling out this person. And I'm just standing there on the freaking college road listening to this get called out. So what do? I'm young. I'm in shape. I'm fit. I take off running towards the direction of the pursuit. I am running through backyards. I'm crossing over roads, and I am just hoofing it, trying to keep up with them, even though they're flying. This guy, while they're turning off on this side road, ghost rides the car, lets it slam into the side of a house, and takes off running. Canine officer lets the dog out, and the dog's giving chase to the guy. They're all trying to figure out where he's at, call him out. Guess who finds him? Guess who catches the guy? Even though, the dog caught up with him, had him cornered, and I was the first one that got there. And they got, they made fun of me because I got locked out of the car and just let me go. But I got the guy.
That's awesome.
I caught him.
It was all in the plan.
Yeah,
It was
it's
all in the
all
plan.
part of the plan. Yeah. I was going to ask you, I'm like, did he take off running like Forrest Gump? But yeah.
Yeah, and I've been told I look like that, and I don't have any shortages of the run, Forrest, run, and stuff like that. But I was pretty happy with myself that I wasn't in the car, and they were all chasing him. But
Picturing like Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he's like running through the
He wanted to do
backyards
this.
and stuff.
Off trampolines.
middle of the night, absolutely. So that one.
Reminds me of a Hot Fuss when you have the cop jumping over the
Oh yeah,
backyard stuff.
and then the fat one just crashes right through the fence. Yeah, great movie. I love that. Anything Nick Frost and I think those guys are awesome.
So being somebody that's in the law enforcement, do you have speaking of movies, do you have a favorite cop movie? And do you have like the one that you hate because you're like, that's a terrible representation?
Detective John Kimball.
I like Kindergarten. It's horrible, but Arnold can do no wrong, and I love Kindergarten Cop. As far as my favorite cop movie is gotta be The Other Guys. Those two together, Will Ferrell and Mark.
Oh
Wahlberg.
yeah.
Great,
that's a great one.
I love it.
I did a desk cop.
Yeah, that's a real thing, right? They were so convincing in their argument. Yes, that movie is incredible. It is so off the wall, not real, but it's hilarious. As far as real, like everything gets it wrong. I like all the stuff, the CSI stuff, where people think that you're going to be able to fingerprint a rock and do touch DNA and figure out that it's this guy when they stole their lawn gnome off their front porch, and it's like, there's things that make stuff unreasonable. People have unreasonable expectations on what we're going to be able to do just because they watch something like CSI and they figure it out in an hour, and we should be able to do that too.
Well, people don't think of the money too. It's like, do you know how much money it's going to cost to figure out who stole your lawn gnome? Like,
right.
We're not doing that. Like,
right.
sorry.
There's some things that are just unreasonable.
$40 go buy a new gnome.
Not to say it's ever been done, but I want you to fingerprint my car, and it's like Do you understand? It's messy. I want you have them just throwing dust everywhere. Like, okay, we're figuring. But I mean, yeah, there's some things where the TV shows make it so unrealistic as far as people's expectations of what we're going to be able to do. So that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
No, the other guys. I love the other guys. Super Troopers was good, but I mean, all of them are completely unrealistic. And I don't know if there's any cop movie that's ever come out where it's like, okay, yeah, because the ones they show are stuff that just never happens.
So Police Academy is not real.
Police, I mean, that one is probably actually not terrible. Like depending on the police academy that you go to, but like I'll give you an example: the TV show Blue Bloods, it with Tom Selleck,
Yeah.
and, Donnie Wahlberg. Like it's always the police commissioner's kids that are involved in every single high profile, like every single
Horrible.
NYPD's got 50,000 officers on the entire department, across the entire New York City, but it's always Danny and his brother that are getting involved in everything. It's like, dude, that's not realistic.
That's because they don't have to do the paperwork.
Right. Or if you
That's
shot
yeah.
somebody every single episode, I'm sorry, but you're going to be spending so much time on administrative leave because you shot somebody. And then after like the 10th guy you shot, they're going to be like, whoa, why are we shooting somebody? Like, so yeah, that show drives me. It's a good show, but it's like none of that would ever happen.
It's kind of like all the shows that have way too much civilian involvement or like high profile people that are telling everybody what to do. It's like that can't be real.
What about Super Troopers? Is there any truth in there whatsoever? Like
you might have
tell me right meow.
You right meow. You might have some you might have some rivalry between departments and people if they get to know each other, but it would never ever be anything remotely close to what happens in that.
You don't have any traffic stops, where you dare them to insert a phrase into the, you got to say right meow.
No.
You can say meow. Go ahead.
I mean, there's you can't get away with it as much now, like with body cams and everything. But there used to be like shenanigans that would take place between each other.
The next person that says
shenanigans.
We all love it. We all know we love it.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, there was all kinds of stuff that we used.
Any rookie hazing?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There would be. One of my favorites.
Not on record, right?
No powdered sugar. Yeah, it's delicious. I'll tell you, I felt bad for him, but it wasn't me. I had a coworker that he had a key ring set that looked like he was a janitor. I'm talking, it's like just one of these big balls.
The big ring, yeah.
Yes. So one of my coworkers, who might now be my boss, got a hold of these keys, and he dismantled them all, and then he hid them back and forth with a clue on where the next one was. So this guy had to spend all day going and figuring out the next clue to get all of his keys back together.
That's so diabolical. I love it.
Right? No. It gets so much worse. So much worse. When he finally gets that last piece to put on his key ring to put all of his keys back together, there is a picture printed out with the last key that shows that all of his keys had been inside the bowl of the booking room toilet.
Oh, wow.
So he had been fondling all these keys, not knowing that they had been in a toilet bowl.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Van Wilder. You got that from Van Wilder.
You will have to have a good sense of humor to see a lot of the things that we see and experience the things that we see, and you got to
probably need it to relax, get yourself out. Out of the mode.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You have to have some levity with the things that are going on around you, and not take everything too seriously, because we're dealing with serious stuff, and
You got to stay sane.
yeah, you do, and you see things that should not make you okay, and so you got to come up with ways to vent, and sometimes comedy is that way, as long as it's tasteful and done in private, and
Family friendly.
it doesn't even have to be family friendly because we're not live streaming it, but yeah,
I was making that because you recently taken down the family friendly badge on your stream, right?
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite is really pissing me off. Like,
It's a long way.
I can't play Fortnite anymore without getting very angry.
Yeah, you rage a lot.
I used
That's
to
why I
not.
stopped in December.
I used to not rage like I do, but the last couple seasons have just gotten so much. And I think when I switched to Twitch, I also was able to introduce a bunch of sound alerts in my ears that I never really had to listen to before. So now people make it their life's ambition or goal to try to aggravate me with sound alerts while I'm trying to play a game. Q,
Just
do you know what I'm talking about at all?
Yeah, I think
You can't just turn off the monitor. Just turn off the monitor on those other special alerts.
Yeah,
I've actually heard you yell at Q before.
I have.
So.
Last circle, last guy. Radio. I mean, I added a thing on my stream like silence. I kill you. Like just to, like okay, we're in a stream. So yeah, this season, the last couple seasons,
that sound is now $10.
Yeah, I've been nothing crazy, but I've been letting like some shits out there every once in a while, or ass bags, whatever. And people are like, "Ooh, Hawk, that's not really family friendly." And after a while, I got so sick of Pop saying that that's not family friendly. It's like, fine, I'll take the family friendly off there. You got me. PG-13 ish, you know. We don't, as long as you don't say anything worse than what I'm saying, you're probably okay.
I know. The other day I said something. I was playing duos with Darren, and you know, I don't claim to be family friendly per se, but I'm not overly the other way either. And I let off a couple choice words the other day, and Darren goes, language. What did I say? Just kind of pops out there.
I don't, and I've tried to explain this. I don't want to ever come across like holier than thou, like I don't curse. I do. People have heard me do it. I've done it.
I'm a cop, you idiot.
I've done it off stream. I've done it on Swando's stream. Like I do. It's just something that when I started streaming, especially on Facebook, I knew that there were kids on there. I knew that it wasn't just adults, and I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure that I was putting something out there that I wouldn't be embarrassed about a small kid. Now I know that Twitch, you got to be at least 13, and I've loosened up on it some. But
yeah, I would venture to guess there's probably more kids on Twitch than there were on Facebook, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably. But I mean, at least most of them should be teen. I mean, you're supposed to be 13, but I don't know. I had my fright. Oh yeah, are you 18? Oh yes, I'm 18.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Pornhub.
But I don't feel the pressure as much with Twitch as I did with Facebook to make sure that it's family friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not having anybody dropping F-bombs like crazy or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Except for when we play.
When they damn hell fart
shit, yeah.
But all the good ones, you know. Like,
and when they do, they're immediately like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," or they're sending bits like about. It's like it's okay, just don't make a habit of doing it.
My virgin ears.
Right. It's not for me. It's for the people around me.
Heard worse from my grade school teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'm trying, but I definitely laxed up on the family.
All these comments.
Bucky Joust says that's why I try not to play with Hawk.
with-
I don't want to be that guy.
Oh, Bucky would have a hard time not putting coins in the swear jar for sure.
Yeah, yeah. The I think all the hot bandits might have a little bit of a problem
I
with
think
that.
so, too.
Pitbull's done a really good job. He's played with me a number of times, and it's never really been a problem. But
We had a lot of fun doing our
Pitbull.
community customs with them.
Oh, that was a
beginning
good
of
one.
month. That was
Oh,
yeah.
that
You
was
played.
fun.
You played
It
a lot.
was
Of,
fun,
you and
yeah.
you and
Oh,
Jared.
he
both
won like
played.
the first 2 matches, didn't he?
Yeah, him and
Yeah,
Beef.
and the second one was an accident. Joe
Like,
Lee
dude,
was
that was you snipers and ramrods the whole game.
Yep. And Joe Lee was supposed to kill me. She was supposed to. I mean, I was literally right up in her face with the sniper, and I hit her once with the Ram Ranch into the storm.
Here, the truth comes out. I mute myself on your stream. That's how I behave.
Perfectly acceptable. But yeah, Joe Lee was supposed to kill me, and I told Beef that, like, you know, snipers and rams only, and yeah.
I got a good clip of a lady list taking out Q.
Oh,
The customs. That was a good one. That was a good night.
That was like the ultimate meme right there. I was trying to decide how far can I go without being seen. It's like last two.
Oh my gosh, you in that Groot skin hiding in trees all the time, looking like a branch all the time.
It worked. It worked in this one. That was the best one I saw. But Lady Les didn't let him off the hook easy.
No.
It was good.
Target acquired.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there's some
Exactly.
sweats. There's some serious sweats in there. Absolutely.
It was tons of fun.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Your customs are really good. I can't do it anymore. I'm completely custom now. I don't think I'll ever host them again. And I know it would be beneficial to my stream to host them. I don't like who I become, and you can't make everybody happy with them. You just can't.
No.
And you're always dealing with toxicity from outsiders. I can't do it.
Knock on wood, we've been fairly lucky. We really haven't dealt with a lot of the toxicity that we've seen in other communities, and I think it's pure luck, honestly. There's not really been anything that we've done different for the most part that I know of. I mean, one thing that we kind of set out in the very beginning, though, is like not to overly dictate too much. Like,
not too many rules. You just let them play it out.
Yeah. Just if you emote on people, look, just get thick skin. If you know, just there's a lot of people that go into it and they know they don't have a lot of people playing, so they make way too many rules. Like,
sure,
don't
no
fight
killing in the first circle.
And don't emote on people, and don't use this gun, and don't use this. And there's just it's so restrictive that and people just jump in wanting to break the rules.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I mean, how many times did it happen?
Don't make rules.
I get that.
But
how many
play
times
the game.
did, like group pictures get ruined because people come want to blow you guys up because
pretty much every time.
Yeah. it was stuff like that was annoying. I mean, even when I did it, I tried not to have too many rules, but
we so this this latest round of customs that we're doing is just once a month, because I think we experienced a lot of the same burnout with customs that a lot of other communities did. It's just like too much and too often.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And it just wasn't fun anymore. So
you gotta make people want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's wanting that banana
like
rumble
that banana rumble.
They all want the
Holy shit.
Dude, that last banana rumble was a lot of fun, actually. With the chicken
that
coop.
was.
Oh yeah.
That chicken coop was.
Bomb.
I love it.
Yeah, that first guy that just opens that door and 16 people are running out. It's great.
16 bananas running out at him. That's.
I feel sorry for his lobbies.
Oh, we dominated those lobbies. It wasn't even close.
That was some of the worst Rumble beatdowns I've seen in a minute, bro.
They couldn't even.
We were
land.
losing. And we were losing at the beginning because we were just fooling around. And all of a sudden it was like flip, and we just destroyed them.
Yeah.
Oh, that one where it was like 90-5. It's like,
Five.
you guys even trying? Like, how does that even happen?
And they still had a decent amount of players running around. Like, it's not like the whole lobby quit.
Like I said, they weren't. We could. There's 16 bananas, and they wouldn't even land. They were
Right.
just,
We would
Oh,
have
yeah.
just shot out of the
they
air.
were shot before they even landed.
It was so great. It was so
much
great.
fun. Banana Rebel, everyone. Banana Rebel.
Yeah, Psycho Nana's been one of the ones that's very active and bring the rumble back. Yeah.
What's the difference between Banana Rumble and Peely Rumble? Aren't they the?
Oh
the
no,
same.
same thing.
Same thing.
I just
We all wear
Rumble.
Peely skins, which we got. Look, you tell your brother, you tell Trish. I know they're both watching, right? You tell them to get those Robo Peelies so they have Peelies next Friday.
Yep, I haven't.
Absolutely. Instead of a chicken. Yeah.
No chickens, no tacos, no beef bosses.
No hot dogs. Yeah, the brat. Yeah.
This is a Banana Rumble, damn it.
The beef rumble just doesn't come off the tongue. It's like,
No, it's a little strange. It's a little strange.
We got a little taste of some Fortnite, iHocNation Fortnite here. If you don't mind me playing it real quick.
Go right ahead.
Let's. I gotta make sure I share audio. I always forget to check that button.
you see little moose in the background. Hey, yeah.
Shout out to It's Dave In It, a Twitch and YouTube streamer that came up with the song for me. If that's what you're playing here. So.
Yeah, this is great. I love this.
Stupid chicken. Stupid chicken.
There it is. There's a dumpster fire. The haters are on the firelight. Let it go, voila. On the down bodies hitting with the tada.
Yes.
The fire. The haters are on the firelight.
Give me stacks in the background.
Yeah, it's got some old stuff in here.
Yep.
That was a Hitman skin right there.
Don't touch wow. Bullet reload head right. Oh, higher in the building setting fire.
Anything more satisfying than the raw?
Oh, I love doing that. Oh, I love doing that.
That's Paul. That's Paul Fresh Ink right there. Never do this one again.
Oh,
Ooh.
Don't peek.
oh!
You get both
Somebody's getting
headshots
aimbot.
at the end.
Somebody's getting bought.
That was back when I was actually playing on controller. So aim assist for sure. Aim assist for sure.
That was a good one. I love that. I love that. We did just get a raid, and I apologize. I don't even recognize the name, so I'm probably gonna botch it. Honestly. Wait, that's my phone.
I'm trying to look to see who it
Echo.
was.
It was.
MZ Pity.
Let's go. Buddy rated you.
Oh, did I miss a Let's Go Buddy raid too?
It just
Or that's
happened.
what? Oh, that was the raid.
Yeah,
Let's go, buddy. Thank you for the raid, brother. Thank you so much. Sorry about that. Yeah, let's go. How was your? I hope your stream was great. We're visiting. You know iHoc very well. Detective Hocanson.
You could say we know each other. There, check.
So look, I know we're getting a little bit long here. We're almost to an hour and 20. We have one more job for you, Hawk, and we need you to pick our meme of the week. We've got 1,000 V-Bucks riding on the meme of the week.
Oh, sweet!
You're gonna notice a little bit of a
own.
theme with these memes.
Am I gonna regret it?
I love memes.
No, I don't think you'll regret it. We just need you to pick the winner.
Memes are life.
Don't tell me who made them then.
We're not going to tell you who made them until you pick a winner. But we asked the community to give us kind of fit the theme of law enforcement for the
okay.
memes.
Okay.
So I think most of them kind of fit ish. And we just, like I said, we just need you to pick a winner.
I can't see Pop did me eating donuts or something. But I'm ready.
No, Pop's not a Discord user. So these memes all come from the THF Hub Discord. We have a meme channel. Everybody submits memes all week. A lot of them make it onto the podcast on Thursday nights. The ones that get the most reactions usually make it on. But this week, we knew we were having you on, and we put a challenge out at the end of our show last week to drop memes that were more law enforcement oriented. So,
okay.
And boom, you get to be the judge because we got 1,000 V-Bucks riding on it.
Boom goes the dynamite.
I'm
Some of them are going to show up pretty well. Some of them are kind of small. So, but they're
not bad. That's not bad.
What does he call it? What's his name?
The most interesting man in the world.
Yes. Most interesting man in the world. Yeah. Don't always carry off duty.
Oh,
yes, I do. Is that true?
For some people they're carrying that.
I thought it was a state by state thing.
They're sleeping with it as well.
No. This is strictly law enforcement.
Like, is it?
So yeah, law enforcement. There's some guys that they're carrying everywhere they go, and then some guys.
Oh, I didn't know they were allowed to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
I used to, especially if we went out of city to like anywhere big. Anymore, I just don't care. So I don't. I'll fight you with my hands if I have to, but I'm not doing the other. So.
Lobster says, "Stay strapped or get clapped."
I've heard that multiple times.
What is that about, Lobster?
Sorry, we're in Texas. Forgive her.
Yeah, Wakko, you should worry a little bit. Just a little bit. Be a little worried.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm proud.
Okay. All right, then.
So this one's not as much law enforcement outside of there's a car in the a cop car in the photo, but that's about it. Man runs out of gas on the interstate, sets up drum kit to kill time.
It's a punchline at the end. That's what I call a traffic jam.
Yeah.
I still say this is where Fortnite get their new Metallica.
That's right. Oh.
Okay.
Oh. This is
just a dad and his friends ensuring his daughter is taken care of at prom.
I've been there. I've done that. So that's totally relatable right there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I imagine this is a popular thing to do with
she just looks like it's like, oh yeah, this is normal
in cop families.
They know that it's coming, so
yeah.
Hopefully they prep the boyfriend to have an idea that this is going to be something they have to encounter.
I love the watermark on this. You probably can't see it, but it says enough is enough with the blue line in it.
What the hell?
What car hit you, ma'am? It was a green Mustang BMW Ford Accord, officer.
I see them all. That
is confusing to the brain.
Yeah, it says Mustang. What
that
How do you call this in?
It hurts my head.
Yeah, that is so weird. Why?
Got a spoiler?
Why?
I think somebody did that on purpose.
I'm choosing a Mustang that Canadian Tire barfed all over. Oh wait, you guys are anyway. Pep Boys.
That hurts my brain.
I don't know.
I know this one hurt my brain a little bit.
That's so true. I've had multiple Mustangs.
So, is it true that traffic cops go after red cars?
You know, the insurance companies seem to charge people more for having red cars. It might draw more attention seeing a red sports car coming over. You know, but
that's what I think too.
But to be honest,
it catches your eye.
It might catch your eye, but if you're not speeding, then you're fine. But
just don't break the law.
I would say that the red sports car is going to catch the eye faster and cause the person to look. But to be honest, like you can tell when you're doing traffic, when you're doing speed enforcement, it's not hard to be like, oh crap, this one's hauling, and it doesn't matter if it's a freaking minivan or a Mustang. The fastest one going is going to be the one getting pulled.
Yeah,
over.
that's the one you're getting.
I beg to differ. I got pulled over way more. My driving habits have not changed at all. I do the same speed pretty much all the time. And
Now,
I got pulled over way more in the Mustang than I did my Kia Rio that I drive right now.
would you say you were going the same speeds in both?
Probably.
So again, that's probably going to be
Was-
more of a your car caught the eye. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not arguing that you weren't speeding, right?
Oh
You're
no,
just-
no, and I
okay.
wouldn't. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, I'm always pretty like, yeah, hey, no, you got
So it's
me.
not that you.
You got me. Like,
It's not that you weren't doing it. It's just now you're driving a shiny sports car. And you're
Exactly,
going to see
yeah.
it first.
It's-
Yeah.
I actually
it's a
drove a
target.
red
It really is
Mustang
a
at one
target.
point. I drove a red Mustang at one point, and I can't remember getting a single speeding ticket in it. But
was
Yeah, I would probably agree that a fast-looking car or a sports car is probably going to get looked at faster than something that's mundane or
yeah, they're
yeah, of course, of course.
Hey, Hawk, have you ever gone Judge Dredd?
Just true.
No, yeah.
And gone like, I am the law.
No, I haven't done anything like that. No, I'm known for my very even keel. And
Okay.
surprisingly, I know you see what you see on Fortnite, but like I have a very long fuse when it comes to the job. And very rarely have I ever lost my cool or lost my temper to where, I was acting maybe differently than what I normally would. So no.
You're leaning away from your mic again.
Ah, dear Lord. No, I'm normally I'm very, very even keeled and don't get upset very quickly.
This one's really not law enforcement. It's just it just happens to have cops in it, and I like the meme.
Oh, the meme is great because it's
Well,
so
isn't he
damn
supposed to be the
true.
MVP of the league this year? That's what I heard. So
All right, moving on.
This is
Is that
Uh,
you?
These are
Got
the,
tired
the
and-
jaded cops that were, yeah.
I tell you, this guy is just
Everywhere.
on TikTok. He is, and I love the song, and I love his voice, and I love his guitar playing. But that's actually hilarious because of how true that is. When I started, you weren't allowed to have facial hair, and it seems like things have really changed. The body cams, the outer vests, like there's so much that's changed since I started. It's 22 years went really, really fast, and it's hard to look at myself as one of the older guys now, but I am. And the body cams and the outer vests and all that stuff and the facial hair is just it's not how I started at all.
Yeah. Things are changed for sure.
Very much so.
You're very clean shaven right now.
Yeah, this is me. Yeah, I'm always like
This one just mentioned jail, so I thought it fit the theme, but it cracked me up too.
Oh.
Why? I don't know.
It's true.
People
though.
like the bad boys.
They like the bad boys. Why can't I find a good man? Because you ain't looking. Because you want there are a lot of good guys out there, but you want the guy that is a badass. And
You go looking for criminals. What are you gonna find?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I've seen this one and it's so damn true. Yeah, third shift and they want you to come. You got home at 8:00, you go to bed and they want you back in court at 11:00. It's like, really? You couldn't set me up with like a 3:00 or 4:00. I'm supposed to go home and sit on my butt for 2 hours, try not to fall asleep, and then come back in and be ready to testify in court. Yeah, they do that to you all the time. All the time.
Oh, man.
Oof.
Well,
Too soon. Too
That came out day one, I think.
Yeah, like that one
You know what?
subway. That one
I think it was like
subway
at 3 in the
store.
afternoon. Yeah.
Of all the disasters, I gotta say that the sub, there was like it was relentless. It's like
Yeah.
meme after meme after
Oh,
meme. Like,
yeah,
Because
the
nobody
type-
cares
the
about
like-
rich
things are-
people.
like I'm
I
pretty
was
sure
like-
there's still shit floating to the top of the water, and all the memes are coming out. I'm like, oh my god.
That subway store that had "Our subs don't implode" on their
Yes.
sign outside.
Yes.
I never
Dude.
saw that.
Oh, dude, yeah, they took so
Oh.
much heat. And the girl, like, what the hell? Like, both of those just too soon, but so true at the same time.
No longer wearing the badge.
Yeah, I think she might have an OnlyFans or something. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. Any drugs or alcohol? No thanks. I've got everything I need.
That
Have you ever
reminds
had-
me, I almost
ever
got
done a-
caught one time. I go through a road stop, and the guy, I'm like, I have anxiety. So anyway, it's like I roll up, and I'm expecting a "Have you been drinking tonight?" And I'm ready to say, "Nope, no, I haven't," because I honestly haven't. But he comes up and he's like, "Are you sober tonight?" And I was like, "Yes, I am." I'm sober.
You tried to trick me.
He did. He tried to trick me, and I was like, "You sneaky." And yeah, he's like, he's like, "Hey, see you later." I'm like, "Okay, bye."
My favorite one is when they ask you to say the alphabet backwards, and
Yeah,
so many people, their instant responses, I couldn't even do that sober.
Oh yeah. I've had that.
No.
Yeah, okay. I don't know why anybody does the alphabet stuff. Like that's not in the manual, the ADAP course. Like,
One of my best
that-
friends, they had him do it.
but it's not even taught, and
Yeah.
there's no real scale for it other than you're just documenting it.
I think it's
Those-
just a meme.
There's 3 tests that you do, and that is not one of them. So when people start doing that weird stuff, it's like you're not going to really get very far with court purposes for it.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
those are the super trooper guys. Those are. Let's see what we can make them do.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy, good friend of mine, so I believe what he told me.
Mhm.
He had no reason to lie to me. He said he did it. He got pulled over and he got asked to do it, and he actually did it.
Yeah.
He said the alphabet backwards, and the cop let him go.
Yeah, I don't know why somebody would ask that. There's other things that you can do that are kind of like that, but it's more for drug related stuff. But that you're just coming up with your own stuff, and I don't know that. Like sometimes it'll be like, okay, I want you to tell me the alphabet from H to Q, and stop at that point. And it's an attention, making sure they can focus, but it's not a standardized test.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't hold up in court as far as, okay, if they failed that, what's the percentage that they're
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah. Right,
totally
right.
screwed. I'd have to go through the alphabet forward to the letter you said, and then work my way
yeah.
back. Like,
now you got the
Nope.
walk, you got the walk and turn, you got the one leg stand, and you got the HGN test. And those are your
just
three-
put me in the back of the car.
yeah,
Like,
those are your
like,
3 standardized tests.
I'd rather just have
Yeah,
a
you're-
nap in the back of your car than.
Your standard field sobriety test does not include an alphabet.
Correct. Nope.
I
alphabet.
I've been through those a couple times, but so
Good one, lobster. I like that one. That's good. It's good.
Say the alphabet starting with M. Malphabet. Yes.
and
You
you're
have to
going
let
to
her
jail.
go. No, you gotta let her go at that point because
Did
That's
you ever
correct.
watch the Reno 911 where the female's telling the guy how to do the walk and turn, and she's like step bump, bump, and she's got him doing like dance moves
Yes.
down the line. That was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Next
I had a-
name.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say I had a buddy of mine that he got pulled over one time, and he gets out of the car and just says, "Thank God you pulled me over because I was gonna kill somebody." And I was like, "Damn, dude!" And he was like, "Yeah, I got handcuffed and went right to jail."
Wow.
I've never heard anyone say that's what she said on the radio. There's definitely been some jokes on the radio for sure, but never that's what she said.
Really?
Shu, do you
Yeah.
say that all the
Just-
time when you're on the radio?
No,
He's
the
like,
closest
"Yeah."
the closest I got was I was trying to say there's a hawk on the roadway, but it ended up comes over as a Hulk on the roadway.
Like a
A
green
Hulk?
big
Like a
There
Green
was a-
Hulk?
Like a green Hulk outside there's like the bird on the highway.
probably the worst thing that they'd do on the radio. There was a lady in town that they would run her plate all the time and have dispatch put out the information because her name was Gloria Thunderpussy. So they would run her plate just so dispatch had to say that it came back to Gloria Thunderpussy.
That's great.
Eventually they said stop running that plate. I mean there was no purpose for it. So.
That's funny.
Oh,
Right
boy.
there.
Hate the white.
Hate to wipe.
Yeah, there are some people you do not want to search. There are some
Is that a
people.
dirt bike? You just let him go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people like when you get them into holding and the jailers have them start taking off their socks and shoes, and it's like the worst experience ever.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you see all types.
Just a smell.
Oh yeah.
It happens.
There you go.
Yeah, sodium.
Here's your adrenaline rush.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody likes the top one. Everybody loves. Yeah,
This is good.
absolutely. So true.
The funny thing is these are real pictures. This is a
No,
Photoshop.
it's 100%. Yeah, 100%.
I remember this too. I don't remember what the event was, but I remember this happening.
He is not thrilled with the first one.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah,
right?
that's Ohio. I'm pretty confident that is Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, everything right there screams Ohio. Yeah, that's full on. I'm dead serious. That's their logo.
Drive careful on holiday weekends.
I wonder if you can zoom in on that road sign right there, but I'm pretty confident. Yeah, that guy right there. That looks like Ohio. That's their freaking insignia on the side of the car.
It's close. That's close to me. I can go to Ohio.
Dead serious. Oh gosh. Oh dear Lord. It's it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
Why'd you spend a night in jail? Well,
I answered the cop's question
I could-
appropriately.
It's like I couldn't help myself. So.
How many female officers do you work with, Hawk?
Currently there are 2 on the department. It seems like we always have about 2 or 3, depending, and a lot of, they move on, retire, or find a different job or whatever. But currently we have 2. I work with one back in detectives, and then we've got another one that's on the road, but also is with our SWAT. She was one of the crisis negotiators, and we essentially switched. She took my spot, and I took her spot so that I could do the crisis negotiation. So we have 2, and yeah, I found out the hard way that with female officers when I'm responding with them that my fuse gets shorter, and I definitely play that big brother role. And I won't share it, but I've definitely had some experiences where somebody testing a female officer to see what they can get away with does not go well. So
Yeah. That's the end of them, I think. Yeah, that's the end. So, do I need to run back through them? or do you already
No,
have?
no, I know which one I'm. Okay, so if I had to say the one that I got the most reaction from, that was like the most visceral, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you did that, would be the one more likely to handle 5 guys. That one got the biggest reaction out of me. But as far as the one that I think is the most
That's probably
comic,
lobsters.
the one that is for me the most comical and so damn true, because the first 2 touchdowns were scored by the defense.
Wasn't it all of them?
I have to go with Chief Wiggins being carried up the
Oh,
hill
yeah,
by the
this is
defense
one.
and the special teams. And I'm sorry, Wakko. But that,
Final answer, that one's the one that had almost the least to do with law enforcement. That's your winner.
it's Chief Wiggins, and I don't want to celebrate the officer that had relations with all of her coworkers, and her husband was okay with it. So
Speaking of cucks, anyway.
yeah, exactly. Are you
Or
gonna
Kevin's.
Are you gonna be opposed? Are you gonna be opposed
Wiggins,
to me saying that
nothing
Chief
gets
Wiggins?
chocolate out. See?
No. If that's your winner, that's your winner. It's all on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You wanted 912. Yeah,
Jesus.
Chief
Yeah.
Wiggins for the win.
No, 912. Yeah.
I don't remember. Where's my button?
Who did that one?
What button? Who's
Yeah, who did the Wiggum?
that? Would be Dirty Nickel.
Dirty nickel.
Dirty Nickel. He's one of our Discord regulars. He's actually an old Dad's a Fortnite follower, and he's still
way back.
he's part of our fantasy football team. So that's where that meme came from, because he's a Miami fan, so he loves to post anti-cowboy.
I just, they won 40-0, and before the game started, Beef was asking me, "Who do you have on this one?" And I'll be honest, I was like, I really don't know. It's like coin toss, and it did not take but a couple minutes where it's like, okay,
That coin only had one side.
there's only one team that showed up tonight, and it's Dallas's defense. So I mean, it was their defense was on it. Special teams was on it.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was an awesome game. Awesome game. From my point of view.
It'll be
My
interesting
POV
to
was
see how they
great.
follow up. Did you realize that Aaron Rodgers is going to get paid like $1 million for every second he was on the field this year?
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous
Wow.
for sure.
That's
You saw-
that's a pretty good return for himself, huh? Good
Oh,
investment.
I would blow an
Wow.
Achilles for $45 million.
$78 million or whatever it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I guarantee I could go 0 for 1 with no picks, and put up the same kind of numbers that Aaron Rodgers. Even in my current condition, I could go 0 for 1, 0 yards, no problem.
Cowboy fans are already saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, I think so.
I tell you what, the Eagles weren't
Week
looking
one.
really
Week
that
one.
great. I don't
Here,
know who your NFC team is now, because the Eagles weren't looking that good before this stream started.
I wish I'd have created this in time for Tuesday night's podcast a couple days ago, but since we already talked about him once, here's the meme that I created yesterday.
Oh gosh. Yeah, it's a damn shame.
It's a damn shame.
But shame on them. The Jets, the Jets have this thing where they take quarterbacks that were great 10 years. I mean, with Rodgers, not even that long ago, but like you're building your team around a 39-year-old quarterback that is past his prime and is just so likely to end up not being able to finish out a season. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, and everybody was I mean, these are things we talked about on Tuesday night, but yeah, everybody drew all the Tom Brady comparisons. Everybody expected him to go to the Jets and bring his own guys and bring his own coach and get everything set up the way he wanted it and automatically win a Super Bowl. And I'm like, come on, it's not going to happen again. He's not Brady. But
Yeah, Brady fell into a great situation there. So
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, do we have any final thoughts for our friend here? I wish I had a cricket noise.
Crickets.
Where's the
Yeah.
sound button? Sound effect button. No, seriously though. Thank you, Hawk, for your service. I appreciate you. Q Swin as well, member of law enforcement through dispatch. Thank you guys for all that you do, all that you have done, and all that you will do. We appreciate it. Like,
thanks for giving us the opportunity to
That was fun.
put ourselves out there and to give us a chance. Like, I don't make this a portion of my stream. I've never been one to really hype that up or talk about it or brag about it or anything like that. So it's been separate. So thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk about it and make it a stream. I appreciate that.
yeah. I thought it was important. I mean, we had a lot of deep thoughts that went on at the beginning of the week, given the week that it is, starting off with 9/11. We contemplated even having something to do with 9/11, but we wanted to do something a little bit more upbeat and more positive. And so, law enforcement appreciation, first responders, like if you're out there and you're a first responder hearing this, like, you're in this too. We appreciate you. We appreciate your service. Thank you, because it takes special people to do these professions, and you've done it. You've volunteered, you signed up, and that's not something that a lot of people can say.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you.
Well, gentlemen, I think we need to find a raid target and say goodnight with an awkward wave. But let me bring up my Twitch dashboard so we can find somebody. Hey, anybody have anybody already?
You got to practice that. Yeah. It takes a lot of practice to get that awkward wave.
Oh yeah.
Is it like with the face too, like with the grimace, or like?
No, it's a big smile.
It's a big one.
Somebody was yelling at us in the chat earlier for not smiling, so make sure you smile. I don't.
But we were in that serious part of the conversation.
Yeah,
so.
serious part.
Yeah.
All serious.
I got no one. There's
not a lot of people are on tonight. That's what we've been finding out on Thursday nights.
I really wish Twitch had like a button where you could like it would like
give me something good.
What's the word I'm looking for? It would mix up the people you can raid.
Yeah.
Give you a new 6 people. Boom.
Fear the Beard's on.
Click again.
Fear the Beard's on. We can go say hi to Fear the Beard.
Fear the Beard.
Sounds good.
All right, let's freaking go over to Fear the Beard. Guys, blow him up in the chat. Show him some THF love. Everybody that goes over to Fear the Beard, type in the chat, THF podcast raid. Let them know where you came from and show him some love. Fear the Beard's a great guy. And thank y'all for being here tonight. We really appreciate it. Guys, if you're not following iHocNation, his Twitch stream is iHocNation. Real simple. Drop him a follow. Check him out. He's live every freaking day of the week at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Like clockwork. Trust me, he's always on. So drop him a follow. You won't be disappointed. Guys, thank y'all.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
I'm starting my raid.
You can begin.
I'm starting my raid. Oh, Dog's
Bye.
ready for me to go too.
Dog's gonna go.
Awkward.
It's still red. It's still red.
It's
You
still
gotta
red.
wait
We're
until it's
on.
not red anymore.